This is my life with albinism.
Now, this is my life with albinism.
And this is my life with albinism.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Life with Albinism podcast. I'm your host, Dale.
And I'm Avery.
And today we have two special guests today on the show. I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
Hey, y'all. My name is Deandra Forrest. I am a model and activist, actress, mama. And I've been in the modeling industry for about, I don't want to tell my age, but over 10 years now. Over 10 years.
Nice.
Hi, my name is Julian. I am I'm a student, and I was formerly in the modeling industry, just finishing my degree now, and looking forward to whatever comes next.
Nice.
Okay, so there's a specific topic I wanted to talk to you guys about because I understand that you guys are both very prominent models with albinism. And I wanted to get like your guys' story and your background and speak about that. So the very first thing I want you guys to do is to say what model agency that you guys work with and what are some of the publications that people can see some of your work and some of your photos on.
Okay, so I've been modeling, like I said, for a minute. And the first agency that I started with is my mother agency, which was Crush Models, but now is Scorpion Model Management. And they also operate now as a main agency. And outside of Scorpion, I've been with Elite, I've been with Ford in Paris, I've been signed in London, pretty worldwide. And I've done a lot. Had a blessed career. I've been in Vogue, I've been in French magazine, I've been in Glamour, I've been in Allure. I've walked runways.
She out here.
Yeah.
Just know she out here.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to clarify something. Is it true that you were the first albino model for Victoria's Secret or the first one signed to Tyra Banks? Which one is it?
So I haven't done anything with Victoria's Secret yet, but y'all can reach out. Okay. But no, I was the first woman model with albinism to be signed to a major modeling agency.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, she out here making it happen.
And you did work with Tyra Banks, or is that not?
So, yes, so she had a talk show.
Okay.
And I was on her talk show with Sean Ross.
Really?
Yeah.
I gotta watch that now.
Yeah.
I gotta watch that again.
Yeah, it was a nice episode. It was fun.
Okay. Now, what about you, Julian? What agency did you model for, and what are some of the publications and magazines and things that people could find your work?
So, for the majority of my career, I modeled under state management, but currently I'm with Talent Model Management, and they've been great. I would say that most of my, images have been seen on Vogue. I've done some advertisement jobs for Nike, Apple.
Apple?
Apple?
The
Apple.
Did you say Apple?
the 13, yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow. So, have you guys ever seen each other or crossed paths in the modeling world?
No, this is
Not yet. This is the first time. I know you would think.
So when did you get started?
I was when I got really serious about modeling.
Yeah.
I would say I was 19, and now I'm 34. So.
And this is something you definitely want to do full time, like this.
I mean, it's my career. I've been doing it. Yeah, it's my passion. I love it. I of course do other things outside of my modeling, but modeling is what I love.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you get started in modeling? Well, and I want both of you guys to answer. How did y'all both get first started into modeling?
I was on my way to a chemistry midterm, and
Really?
a gentleman on the bus gave me his card, and I took his card, and it was for Ford models. His name was Daniel, and he was great.
Shout out to Daniel.
But he told me that I was too shy, and to come back with a more, external personality, and so I began just taking photos with people, whoever wanted to collaborate, and any photographers that were interested. And eventually, a state management scout reached out to me on Instagram, and they, asked me to join them. And I was like, okay, sure. So that's basically how I got my ball rolling.
Okay.
What age was that?
Also 19.
Oh.
Yeah,
How old are you now?
I'm 23.
Okay. A lot younger.
Baby.
Nice. So I got started. So the story goes that I was scouted on 34th Street, which is a lie, to be honest. But only because at the time it was kind of frowned upon to find models online. They wanted to hear this like glamour story of you scouting this model on the street, and they love the mystique behind finding a model.
Yeah.
But it was actually on MySpace.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Throwback.
A throwback, and an agent reached out to me, and well, actually at that time he was just a photographer. I mean, amazing photographer. He's still my agent today.
Okay.
Shamir Khan.
Nice
And
shout outs.
yeah, and he just dropped into the DMs, and I actually met him on 34th Street though, and we did our first test shoot, and we got started from there.
So now in this model industry, right? One thing that I typically see is that very stereotypical yin and yang photo that they make the albinism models do, where it's like you put the person with albinism right next to the really dark skinned person. Are you guys like kind of tired of that same cliche photo over and over?
Have y'all
and over
taken
again?
that?
Exhausted.
Doing that a lot. They have y'all doing that a lot.
They had me doing it, I would say maybe like 15% of like maybe all my photos.
Wow. That's
Maybe like
terrible.
12. But I've made some good friends through that though.
I mean, yeah. But you
That's
don't want to
cool.
like, not to be saying like you don't want to be selfish. Like, no. You get the next one. I got this one. I'm looking too good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't.
They always do like individuals and then
Right.
like the collaborative shot. So it's not necessarily like, oh, I want my own space, but it's kind of like I would hope they can find another way to highlight my characteristics.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you?
So I have had quite a few contrast shots with very dark skinned people, and then I think it is beautiful to have the contrast.
But not
mean-
like for every shot.
I mean, I haven't had that many. Like
Okay.
I can remember definitely some distinct ones, but I've been shooting for so long that it definitely
Yeah.
overpowers.
Okay.
Yeah. But I really think, like, even in black and white, it's so beautiful. And I think, photographers love to play with that. And I think just even from a lighting perspective, it's kind of a challenge because it's like, how do you light hits everyone's skin differently.
Yeah,
So to light someone who is very dark versus
Light and
someone
dark.
very light, when
Yeah.
you can really capture that, it's so gorgeous.
Okay. And different portraits. And,
Yeah.
okay.
Do you guys feel as though your albinism kind of like really like brings your modeling career like to the forefront? Like, do you feel as, I guess what I mean by that is this is like, do you feel like your albinism is the reason why you're modeling? Like the reason why people want to take your photo?
One of y'all answer.
You like the time is ticking. No, okay. So I'll say when I first started, it's a blessing and a weight to be the first in anything, right? Because it's like, it's exciting. It's like, okay, you get to pave your own way, but then you have to pave your own way. Like,
Yeah.
you really have to. There's a lot that comes with that, and I will say. When I first started, do you remember Media Takeout? That was like the first place that my pictures showed up.
Media takeout? I thought that was like to like expose celebrities.
Yeah, well, this was actually a good article, so I will thank you.
Okay.
And the title I remember was like first albino model to be signed to Elite Models or a major modeling agency, and then they highlighted Elite. And I feel like every kind of news report had that title after that for years.
Okay.
And it was something, one of the main reasons why I wanted to be in fashion and entertainment and modeling is because I wanted to be a representation for people with albinism in a positive way, like in beauty. I'm like, we are beautiful. We don't have to be these mystical creatures, or you can just see the beauty in albinism as well as
Definitely.
the uniqueness, right?
Yeah.
But I think there was a point where I got tired of just being labeled the albino model because I'm like, there's so much more to me than just my albinism.
Yeah.
And I know that with my features and who I am and how I look, I would be modeling with or without it. So I do think it's,
Wow, that was a very confident statement right there.
You should, and that no, yeah, but I feel like that's how you're supposed to carry yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like you're supposed to have purpose. You're supposed to walk in your destiny. You know what I'm saying? Like if you know this is for you, strut it. You know what I mean? Just like if you was on the runway. Like so, good. Keep going. How about you, my guy?
I think that was actually like a great statement. If you have only like one quality about yourself that you, I guess, bet everything on, then you'll find yourself kind of in your own time worrying and overthinking and all kinds of negative aspects. So that was actually a great statement. For me, I think that it is the reason why I was chosen to be a model. I think they saw my look and they saw the uniqueness and they were just trying to, but I never thought of myself to be a model. I love illustrating. I love drawing and sculpting and painting and all kinds of stuff like that. So modeling was not that far off. But once I started modeling, I found myself really enjoying the whole field, the whole everything about it, from the photographer's perspective, the SFX makeup artist perspective. Everything came together and collaborated, and I just loved it. So I wouldn't have given it up if I didn't have my albinism.
Wow.
And if I could touch on something that you said earlier about when you were scouted, the male told you to come back when you were like kind of less shy, when you were more confident. And I want to say like confidence wasn't always there even for me, because it was that thing of like, okay, this is something I want to do. But I think also it depends, but I do know like a lot of people with albinism being a little more on the shy side, because it's like, okay, there's this,
No, yeah.
and just in general, you're walking in the world and you are, like a big light bulb.
Right.
So you kind of try to, in my experience, people try to dim their light a little bit just so you can fit in a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I think people on the outside don't really get that. So because I had the same thing when I was going into agencies, I didn't get scouted right away. Like I was presented to agencies and I got a lot of no's, and that was a knock to my confidence. I'm like, damn, is this gonna happen? Yeah. And there was a lot of tweaks that they wanted me to do around my appearance as well before I finally got the yes. So I think, and even when I did get signed, it was like this personality thing. I think, in entertainment, people are so used to seeing these very super personalities, and when you're a little bit more laid back, it's kind of like, they want you to like put on a show. Yeah.
There's only a few people that can do lax or quiet personality good in the mainstream entertainment, and I'm thinking what's his name, Peterson. Do you know what I'm talking about? I think it's D. Peterson. I forget. He's from Staten Island, actually.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look him up.
Yeah, I'm forgetting his name right now. But most people in the mainstream public eye have this loud, vibrant, bouncy personality that really just makes people enjoy them a lot. But
you guys don't have that. Y'all don't have that
bubbly,
that loud confidence.
I can with people that I like that are in my circles, absolutely. But generally, externally, I'm kind of just receptive rather than just talking and open.
What about you, Deandra?
I think a little bit of the same. I think for a while, it was definitely only inner circle, but now growing, I'm like, listen, y'all gonna get what this is.
That's what I'm saying.
So I think it's also, it comes with age. You really kind of
definitely.
You get used to yourself and you're just more comfortable with expressing and being. You sit in your authenticity more, and your.
Now, have you always been comfortable in your own skin around other people?
Yeah. I think
it's never been you around certain people and you just you're more quiet or standoffish. You know what I mean? Doing the model agency type. Or it was just that's what it is. You know what I mean?
No, there were definitely times where I wasn't as comfortable, especially leaving the country, and it was such a culture shock, and people were just so intrigued. They're like, "How how do you look like this?
How-
And even when you explain it to them, it's still,
Still
like
foreign
this
to
is
them.
not.
Yeah, yep.
So there was a discomfort sometimes, especially modeling, and also not only having albinism but having nystagmus. It's like people.
Not to interrupt you, but I never thought about that. The fact that our eyes move back and forth, does that become a problem during photo shoots? Because you're supposed to keep your eyes centered to the camera. Does that become a problem for you guys?
For me, it has. Yeah.
They
Very much
said
so.
something to you?
Yeah, do they say something like, "Hey, you got to focus on the light," or do they?
What
do they do?
I've had some photographers tell me like, "Hey, can you like keep your focus here, or can you look straight?" That's one
Brian,
of the things, because as we know, we always have like an angle about ourselves,
Yeah.
and looking straight is something that photographers usually kind of can look for. But that's definitely something that I've had like a little bit of a tackle with in my past photos. Yeah.
Oh, what about you, DeAndre?
Same. I mean, for one, like these very bright lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The flashes.
Yeah, so I mean, there's tricks that you learn along the way. Like I'll give myself time to like close my eyes in between
I've done that.
shots.
Yeah.
Or, I'm like, well, you're going to get this shot with these eyes closed.
Yeah,
And then
like-
even with the straight on thing, I do know, like, photographers do want that very stoic, straight shot.
Yeah.
And I let them know, like, you have to help me out. Like, let me know.
Yeah.
I left, right? Like, where are we going?
Yeah, where am I looking?
And I
Like-
think, but like I said, and that was something that I was shy to express in the beginning. But now knowing, like, okay, we're working together as a team, and as I can be more open so that we can help create the vision together. So
Communication.
yeah, you
Yeah.
know, and I think like once people know more, then they can adjust as well. And then even going into castings, because not everyone has seen someone with nystagmus, so I would notice people like looking at me all strange, and then I'm like, oh my god, it's my eyes, and I don't want to like, I don't want to talk about this elephant in the room, but you're gonna have to point it out. You're gonna have to speak about it, because that may be why you don't get the job, just because people they get
don't
a
know.
little and they don't want to feel they don't want to feel bad for not. It's just like a weird thing that happens
Yeah.
sometimes. So communication.
Lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
So, and have you guys came across other models with albinism while you were going out to model? Like,
That is a good question, Joe.
I came across one, during a runway walk from the designer Aaron Potts. There was a model there with albinism, and he had like really long, like coily hair. It was wonderful, but we didn't speak too much. We were just kind of like going in the motions of
Yo,
walking
why is
the
it-
line. But we chatted a bit after, yeah.
okay.
And how about you?
Well, yeah. So I started with Sean Ross, and
Oh, so you've done shoots with.
oh my gosh, so many. Like I love Sean. Yeah, we've shot together so many times, and we were the only two for a very long time, and it was really nice to see more inclusivity in the albinism department and modeling and film. Like I forget his name, but he was on Black Lightning.
Oh,
yeah.
Marvin Jones.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's so beautiful. It's like finally.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, shout out to Marvin Jones. We actually had him on the
So-
podcast as well, and he actually spoke
Right
highly
on.
of you.
Yeah.
Spoke very highly.
Yeah,
of you.
yep.
And I believe he stated that he met you at like albinism events. I believe it was. I don't necessarily think it was centered around media, but maybe it was. I'm not sure, but I know
Yeah.
he said that he's met you a few times.
Yeah,
he
he's
spoke
really,
highly
really
of
cool.
you.
He's really cool.
He is.
I'm proud of him.
Talk to that man. He
So
make you think.
yeah, yeah, like his words are very powerful.
Yes.
And I didn't realize how big of a person that he was. Like I didn't realize that he actually ghostwrites for Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and Exhibit, stuff like that. And I was like, what in the world? Like I
Yeah,
thought this was
like-
just an underground rapper. Who
That's dope.
Yeah.
you know. But
I ain't
So-
gonna lie. After talking to that man, he had me rethinking my whole life. I was like, man,
Nice.
so in your journey, DeAndre, did you, other than Sean Ross, did you come across other people with albinism in the model industry?
I did. I haven't shot with any. But I have seen, and I can be a little bad with names, but I think I will say about 5.
Okay.
And I was actually in South Africa,
Really?
and this was the only the first other person the second person outside of Sharma I said I met with albinism that was in modeling, and she was from South Africa, and I forget her name, but she lived there, and she was a famous model there. And then eventually I started to see more models with albinism in fashion. I would see a few at shows, and it was really, really beautiful to see.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Okay, so my last question: when you guys do see other models with albinism, do you have like that instant like comparison to yourself, like, oh, does this person look better than me or not, or
Are
you
you starting?
right, or are you past that thought, or does that still happen?
I actually I had it once, but not as like often or as like negatively as it may sound. Anybody from any I guess ethnicity or race can have albinism.
Yeah,
Asian people, even white people, Indian people. So when I see someone with albinism, I don't really. I think about their albinism because it's the first thing that I see, but then I just kind of like see them as somewhat like a part of me, kind of, and I just go on with my conversation with them. So it's not so much comparison, but just recognition.
So you don't you never had that thought of like, wow, he looks better than me, kind of thing, because maybe you see another male with albinism and that thought would come across.
I would say that it would be no different than seeing like another guy and saying like, oh, he looks better than me, or like something like that. You know what I mean?
Okay. What about you, DeAndre?
And I just want Stephen Thompson. He's another one who I have shot with, and he's super dope. He's from Brooklyn, another model with albinism. But I will say the industry tries to make it really slim pickings for black models and in spaces of where there's one of something, right? So I mean, to be frank, like if you're white, you got all the opportunity in the world, but there's space. But when it comes to black models, and I will say like a uniqueness, they want to have you think, or it feels like there can only be one at a time, right? So I never felt threatened before, like being really the only one with albinism. And then when I did start to see more, especially women with albinism, I was excited, but that thought did come across my mind, like, oh my gosh, like now, I'm getting older, like, is it out the
Somebody
door
coming
for
from
me?
my spot.
Yes. I was like, damn. And that's full transparency and honesty. But then I just, I don't soul searching, just really through growth and work. I realized, like, what is for you will be for you. And, and there's enough. Like, there's enough out on this planet for us to all have some of the pot, right? There's space for all of us. So it's really just like, congratulations. And I really want to see us all thrive because there's space for all of us.
Now, is there any other models you would like to collab with in the nearby future?
Who I would like to meet? I've seen her speak, and I don't know if she's a lawyer, but I think she's also South African, and her name is Tondo. I hope I'm saying her last name right. But she was really inspirational, like hearing her speak, and such a bright woman, and really is doing beautiful things for people with albinism as well. So it would be great to collab with her.
Nice. And how about you, my guy?
I'd like to meet Shauna Ross.
Yeah, Sean is dope.
Okay.
Well, I want to thank you guys both. I think this was an amazing episode with some good insight, and I think you guys mentioned some really good things about modeling that maybe we didn't even think about. So I just want to appreciate you guys. That's another great episode of Life with Albinism podcast. You guys can stay tuned to our channel. Go to lifewithalbinism.com to check out any new merch or any new endeavors that we have going on.
Yes, sir.
Right. Peace.